just jealous. Oh, you're 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 just jealous. Cause we're the BG boys. Yeah. Oh, you're just jealous. 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 Cause we're the BG boys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hello,
man.
everybody.
What's up, everybody? We're going to do something a little different this week. We just started doing the podcast, and it's sort of like a simulcast. We're going to do, the YouTube video version of our podcast, which is essentially going to be the same thing, only here we are.
Yes, indeed.
What's
Live.
up? Live and in color. So what we're going to do this week is talk about Friday the 13th, the game that released, I think, over the summer. Let's see what the exact date is.
I think it was last
here.
summer.
I think it was June. Was it? No, it was this year.
No, I don't think it was.
It's been around for a year already.
Yeah,
this
because
game.
we were talking about it like.
Oh, look at it! Yeah, single player mode via update is announced for a summer 2007 release.
It's been out for a while, so we are a little late to the party as far as this one. But
we are late to the party. But
we're mentioning it because specifically, if you're a PlayStation Plus or PlayStation Online member,
free this month.
Yeah, this month for October. So this podcast is releasing, unfortunately, the last day of the month. So I would get on it today if you can.
if it's even still available. Either way, we downloaded it earlier this month, and we did some gameplay, which we'll throw up on our YouTube. We had some fun with it. It was interesting.
God. Yeah, it's one of those things where I don't recall when it released a lot of people having good things to say. I mean, there was definitely, I think, when it first released, because it was like a Kickstarter campaign with a small team of making the game, so glitches were an issue. There was a lot of balancing of the different mechanics.
I mean, they're still an issue, let's be honest.
I mean, some things, but I feel like majority of the big issues have been corrected at this point. Obviously, the game has some problems because, it is like a wacky game. For what it is, though, I have absolutely no complaints. Like, I'll you can call BS on certain aspects, but I don't get that mad really, because you just.
I consider it to be like a gimmick game.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
It's supposed to be played around this time of year.
Yes, exactly.
Like the first movie is obviously a cult classic. They made so many more after that, too many in my opinion. But this game basically got destroyed in terms of ratings. Metacritic, the PS4 and PC version got the same rating, which was 61 out of 100.
Which isn't horrible,
terrible,
realistically. That's not terrible.
Good.
No, I mean, but again, you got to look at it from this perspective that, this is not this isn't a standalone game where you're playing the single player offline year-round, like an Assassin's Creed kind of game where you could just pop it in and play the game. This is meant to be multiplayer, meant to be with other people online. So you have very specific, criteria to make this game even playable, but so were some of the other ones. How about the first Lost Planet we used to play? I never played the campaign on that one. We only played multiplayer. This is the exact same thing.
I'm glad they made it. If you ever want to go back to it, you can.
Right, and it was all right,
but it was a different game. The
yeah.
multiplayer was a totally different game in the sense that, replay value and fun factor. That kind of stuff was important then. It still is now. But some of these games just don't have that longevity. So.
The fact that this becomes gimmicky, though, is actually better for the game, I feel like, because you will bring this out during the Halloween month to make it scary.
A special occasion.
Yeah, or even maybe during the summer months where it's the summer camp feel, because that's pretty much when these games take place. I could see that being either time of year. And again, this is my fun game that I like to pull out every now and then, because we're all, at this point, Red Dead Redemption 2 just released, so I'm fully into that, but every now and then, I think the last few nights, still at the end of the night, I pop in at least one game of Friday the 13th, because it's still October, it's still Halloween, this is the Halloween podcast.
Yeah, when you rally
and that's the game.
When you rally up the crew to play, and everyone's running around, and, it's random, whether or not you could be Jason and whatnot, so... It's funny, though, man. I mean, the only thing that I don't like in terms of gameplay in the game is that teleport that he does.
Yeah, but some of his things you have to.
I guess.
He's so there's, I think one of the Jason people that you can unlock can't run. So there's no way
None of them can run though, dude.
No, they can run a little bit.
How quickly are you panting and running in absolute slow motion.
Yeah, but I'm saying the Jason character, that particular one, can only slowly stalk. So without that teleport, there's no way you'd make it to the other side of the map.
He's got a big stride, though.
Yeah.
He's taking big steps and get across like the campgrounds and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. But so just for those that are listening that maybe have not picked up Friday the 13th or also heard similar things that don't really understand like what it is we're talking about, it's a simple party mechanic sort of game where it's about 8 players total, one of which is randomly chosen when the match starts to become the character Jason Voorhees from the Friday the 13th series. Killer in a hockey mask, yeah. There's different Jasons from the different movies that are available. So I think when you first pop it in, everything is set to random. But throughout the course of gameplay, you'll unlock points, which will let you, and then you gain levels, which will unlock certain either counselors or characters from the movies or different Jason
skins.
costumes. Right.
Different Jason skins. You could be sack of potatoes, Jason.
Yes, from the second movie or his first movie, I should say, where he actually appears. I don't think he gets his mask till the third movie. So pretty much every one of the movies, I believe, has a Jason-ish. Like, I don't think they have a Jason X character, and I'm not sure if Jason Goes to Hell is included.
I don't know.
I haven't gotten that far.
Yeah, we didn't play it
level.
long enough to really enjoy all the high-level stuff.
But each one has their own thing. Like, I think one of them has the machete. One has, like, a spear. They have, like, throwing knives that you can use, like, from the perspective of Jason. So one person gets to do it. And he has a couple different abilities that he's able to do. Each map is a different movie setting. So it might be Camp Crystal Lake. Might be, like, another camp-related scenario where it's multiple camp houses. Usually a lake, roads, and Jason's able... roads. But he's able to basically go around to the different areas searching for the counselors to kill them. That's the very basic. And if you're the counselors, you are trying to escape the area or at the very least survive. And each round's about 20 minutes. It's 20
basically
minutes exactly.
Jason stalking around and you're hearing stuff like... And it's funny because they do like a little intro with each...
Every
each
beginning of the map, it's like everyone's like partying or wherever they are, and then here comes Jason from wherever he comes from, whether it's the water.
What's hilarious about this game, and everyone who's played it knows it, is the ridiculous, like, frightened faces that they have.
It's the same dude, like, always horrified. I think it's like the character Chad or something. And he's always like, oh!
There's an extremeness,
cartoony, but hilarious.
There's an extremeness to the horror that's on the faces of these guys.
But someone gets murdered right in front of them. It's not a character you're playing as. It's like, I guess, the 9th counselor or what have you. That gets either like his neck broken or thrown into the fire. And that's the other thing. There's some brutal murderous deaths in this game. Like you unlock different ones.
To me, one of the worst ones is the Skull Crush, where he grabs the head and he's just like,
yeah,
and you hear the bones.
I had the one where I think I threw someone against the house and just like
that was good.
Just curb stomped them into the house, breaking the neck.
Bad.
Brutal stuff. But it's also hilarious because when you're Jason, you're gleefully destroying these counselors, and even when like you get caught, he gives you like the the Undertaker choke hold up in the
choke
air.
Slam.
So you're
they have like a regular body slam too. It's pretty funny.
I think they do have that actually. Yeah, where you just throw them down and break their neck.
It's great though, man. Like, but that's the fun though. These guys have to get caught. That's the game,
But also from the counselor,
talk about the object. Like for those who haven't
for the counselor
played it.
perspective, there's different ways that you can escape. There's one where you need to look for fuses to repair cells because certain camp houses will have the like a fuse box on the outside.
Yeah.
So you need to repair that, which will enable you to call the police, and then a countdown for the police will show up. They'll arrive. You'll see where they are, including Jason, which is also part of the craziness.
Takes a while.
And you need to run to wherever they show up and not get murdered at the same time. But once you exit the boundaries of the map, you've escaped. Or there's boats and cars, depending on the map.
That's the big object, is you're supposed to escape, like, certain death, or you're Jason, and the object is to obviously murder all these people.
Mm-hmm. So you're looking for a piece, like if it's to say the car, you're looking for a battery, you're looking for gas, and you're looking for car keys. So there'll be a car that just has like the hood open, and you'll see the icons that are next or surrounding the car showing what it's missing or what it has. And same thing with the boat. I think it's gas, a prop like the propeller for the back, and also
you gotta find
keys.
the car keys.
Exactly. So
each little thing is like a mini game. So like when you're filling the tank of gas, you have to like hit like R1 or X,
L1, yeah,
whatever
or
it is.
depending if you have the Xbox,
and it's like a
there's different
timed
buttons.
thing. You see a meter go around, and then you just hit an L1 or R1, and you have to click it at the right time. And if you click at
mess
the right
up,
time,
takes longer.
exactly. That adds to the suspense, and it also buys Jason time to come kill you.
But there's other aspects too, because everyone can do a run thing, but there's so everyone has an issue as far as making noise. The more noise you make, Jason can physically see you on the map, and I think other people do. It's like a little radar ping. So you want to try to be quiet. You can crouch to slowly walk away, but some characters just have better statistics at doing certain things than others. So if you have a crappy stealth gear, going into stealth mode really doesn't help you at all.
No.
But they do hilariously let you hide in like closets or underneath beds, and like you could hold your breath. But if Jason's around you and he puts on like the
it's so easy for him
mode,
to just put a weapon right through the
murders you
through the
it's
through
so
the
fun.
armoire that you're hiding in.
But they can go through windows. Jason cannot. The basic concept is he can only enter and exit through doors as far as
And
interior
my favorite
buildings.
thing to do in the game almost is to jump out the window.
Yeah, exactly. You just
they just
out.
like hop in, smash through
like original Black Ops style, just dive it out.
Pretty much. That's exactly
And
what
if the
it is.
window's not open, they'll just break through the glass, horribly hurting themselves.
It's terrible.
But you lock doors. Every time you basically lock doors, set bear traps, you get points, which at the end of the match, everything gets counted up, and that's how you level up and also unlock different things.
It's fun, but it's it's definitely a novelty. I just want to go through some of the scores that this got, because it just makes me laugh. Like, I think people are expecting too much out of this game. It sort of is what it is. The best score I think I see, IGN gave it 6.9 out of 10, which is essentially a 7, which is to me a high score for a game like this. PC Gamer gave it 75 out of 100, which is essentially the same score. But everyone else, Polygon gave it 4 out of 10. Destructoid 6.5 out of 10. So the general consensus in Metacritic, like we said earlier, 61 out of 100. So
4 to 5 stars from Game Revolution, though, whatever that is.
A 4 out of 10 from GameStop. GameStop was just not having this game.
Way.
But
again, I feel. I mean, again, this is probably when it first released that a lot of these scores come out. Usually, a game doesn't get rescored.
I guess, yeah,
so
that's true.
This is a Kickstarter game from a small team, so I feel like in these cases, there's going to be a lot of things that need to be addressed. It's not like coming from a major studio, so it may have just been a lot of, I guess a lot of high expectations were put on the game, which could be, granted, how could you help yourself? It's a Friday 13th game where you're running around killing people as Jason or trying to escape Jason. So I guess you could see the fun.
That's the whole fun of the game is the brutality
honestly,
of all the ridiculous murders.
I do like running from him. It's one of those things where, like, I guess a sadistic joy of just trying to not get yourself murdered. And just talk about immersion.
It's just the classic being chased feeling.
Yeah, but like you're in the woods and you're hearing that sound effect of the playing around, and it's terrifying. Like you'll just be out there. It's like, where is it?
Oh, that's probably so loud. But it's as loud as that. Yeah, it's okay. But it's basically as loud in the game, if not louder, with the screaming, dropping F-bombs. The counselor's like, oh no, shit, man, we're screwed.
And I think the fun mechanic for being a counselor is the screen gets all staticky whenever Jason appears right in your area.
Right.
So you're like, you'll hear it and you're getting freaked out, but then you see that visual cue and it's like, uh-oh, is he chasing me? And you do have a little bit of a mini map in the bottom corner, which, depending on how freaked out your character is, could possibly disappear, because if you're staying too long in the dark, if you're not with other people, if Jason's been haunting you for a while, your counselor basically gets freaked the hell out, is calling out like wildly, can't see, stumbling, like they do the literal
you have
stumble.
You have the stamina bar, right?
Right.
So once you're walking around for a while, you start running, you are able to run in the game, but the running is very difficult to do consistently because, essentially the stamina bar goes down really, really quickly. And then you like get frightened when Jason's near and stuff like that. So, before you know it, you're just like in trouble and just moving so slow. I think that's part of like the negativity of the game in terms of like the reception of it, is basically you're just moving real slow. It's the same thing over and over and over again. So sort of once you've hit its peak, in terms of playing for the day, you can put it away. But it's one of those things where
But
you
that's
could
fine.
just pick
I
it up
mean,
once in a while.
Yeah, like I don't have an issue with that. Like I like having a few rounds because how often can you play a game nonstop? Like is that like where we judge things now? Is how far we can like marathon plow through and just keep going? Like take a break. Like I have no problem with that. Switching to another one, especially I feel like if you have people that you are able to talk with and play with, it's gonna be way more fun. Because right now, most of the time, like except when me and Adam are playing together, if I was going on random games, it would be either little children who a lot of times are either just like talking nonsense, you have to mute them, or there'll be
Oh
people who are
man,
just
I can't play with kids at all.
and
I just can't.
I
As soon as I
can-
hear a child's voice,
it
I'm like, nope.
depends. It
I
depends.
either mute or I leave the game.
Yeah.
Either with Black Ops or you name your game.
Mhm.
I just
It depends
can't.
on how much of a child they're acting like. Because if they're respectfully playing, and just every now and then you hear that annoying kid voice, it's like, all right.
How many kids do you know that are so respectful and play politely at all times?
Not usually, no. That's what I'm saying. But
That's
again,
all I'm saying.
Again, if you're better than most, I'll allow it, I guess, because who's playing these things? Kids.
Keep that in mind, kids. Be nice to
Yeah.
the people you are playing with. Don't
Granted,
be
I
foolish.
feel like that also doesn't help with most people's online persona. Like a lot of times, everyone's just being a jerk to each other. I've been in games where people were actually coaching others, and the ones that started off being very griefy, very, just like basically messing with everybody, giving the good jobs, or hey, good, thanks for locking that door.
Yeah.
Anything that you could do to help others in the game, I feel like is appreciated
It's
because
a
you are a
necessary-
teamwork thing. And
yeah, the whole game is teamwork, really. Everyone's trying, like when you're trying to escape in the car, everyone's got to run and find stuff.
Oh my god, speaking of that car though, one thing I have to say is I think it was our second game playing. I just got like all the pieces to the car, but someone else had the car keys. So I'm going to try and get in the car. He starts moving, and basically it was one of those things where I was so angry, but at the end of the match, like we kind of had to respect how like much of a griefer he was.
Dude,
He got
it
more
was
kills
funny.
than Jason, running every one of us over. The guy was doing donuts, also escaping Jason. And it was insane, but he killed pretty much everybody. I think Jason had one
I got
actual
ran
kill.
over. I was one of the
Yeah,
murders.
absolutely. Well, that was another one. And then
I
there's
was one
times
of the
where,
vehicular manslaughter.
oh my god, it's absolutely insane. And then I think I crashed the car the one time, like right into a tree.
Oh yeah.
And like we have the speaker on. We weren't playing with a headset at the time because we were just like trying to try out the game for a
Yeah,
bit.
we're just goofing.
And we just hear like the person in the passenger seat with me like, look at this guy. You just gotta crash his right. Start the car. You want me to drive?
Oh my god. So we're all desperately trying to hop in the car, and he's just like pulling over,
Yeah.
backing over us,
Yeah.
pulling over, backing over. Oh no.
We got out though.
It was funny,
and we did
man.
escape. As mangled as the car was, like he did not get us.
But as annoying as that is when you're trying to actually win the game,
Yeah, no, that's what
entertainment
sucks, yeah.
value wise, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
It was totally worth dealing with.
Another fun thing is they have a random CB radio that'll be in one of the huts, and you're able to basically you're calling for help.
Yeah, if you
Not
have a headset,
similar
you
to
can
the
now
police.
communicate.
Well, no, that's if you find a radio. If anyone with
What
a
were you
handheld
talking
radio,
about?
talking about
The
the
walkie-talkie?
CB radio that's out there.
Oh, I thought you
And
meant the walkie-talkie.
Tommy Jarvis, you basically are able to summon into the game. So, depending on if that happens before there's someone dead, or if people have been dead and then you do it, basically either the first person to die or a random pool of people that are still spectating the match will come back another chance as Tommy Jarvis once you activate that radio.
In my experience, the first person who dies controls Jarvis.
But if they left the game, because basically the once you die, you can
spectate.
Yeah, you could spectate, which I think is the fun because now it's like a horror movie where you're like, "Run, bitch, run!"
Yeah, like, yeah.
What are you doing? But if you leave, I guess because you want to just you get frustrated, you want to go. You don't get as much points at the end of the match either. So spectating does give you a little bit of an advantage, but also you could come back as Tommy Jarvis. So depending on who I guess is left watching, could become
he's
Tommy
basically,
Jarvis.
if you're not familiar with the movies, he's just a guy with a shotgun that comes back through the game, and you're able to like save the others.
Yeah, the shotgun
That's
is
the
the
idea.
most powerful weapon, I believe, but you only get one shot, and you need Tommy Jarvis, I think, to actually kill Jason. Which I don't know if
Does
there's
he kill him?
there's-
Because
there's-
every time I've seen Jason get hit with the shotgun, he
No,
gets
it's-
shot and then he just goes down.
no,
and then he comes back up like the
there's
Undertaker.
a very specific sequence of steps that need to be taken in order to kill Jason. I have yet to see
very
it done.
specific.
Very specific.
Series of steps.
You need Tommy Jarvis. That's first off. Someone has to be playing as Tommy Jarvis. enough damage that Jason needs to be done that his mask pops off. So, Tommy Jarvis then needs to have a machete and the mask. A female counselor needs to find Jason's hut, take in the sweater, wear it, go up to Jason once he's had enough damage, activate the sweater. I think you have to stun him maybe while he's...
I didn't catch any of this while we were playing.
This is something that I've read. I've yet to see. And then once that happens, with him holding the mask and the machete, I don't know if it's a button combination or like a prompt comes, and then he's able to kill Jason. And that's the only way to actually kill him. But think about how many steps that took to do. Because the minute you go into his house in the game, he's alerted, so
that's really like having all the planets aligned.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy stuff. Although I have seen him hurt enough where his mask falls off. So if you have a crappy Jason character and you have the whole team ganging up on him, because there's been some times where people are just really good at this game, and all of us will be surrounding him and knocking people out of his grasp and able to survive together. Yeah. So it's helpful. But
so just a cool little, just to pause for a second, just a cool factoid about this game. So this guy Harry Manfredini, I hope I said that right, who created the soundtrack. I'm pulling this off the wiki. For the original Friday the 13th film. Apparently he created the soundtrack of the video game. So I think they released some sort of physical copy of the soundtrack, as it says something like that here. But either way, I thought that was cool that you figured they were gonna get the licensing and just pull the soundtrack anyway. But it was just a cool little fact. I just figured it'd be reproduced or something like a knockoff version, but it wasn't. So that was cool.
Absolutely, and it definitely shows because again, that's part of the immersion is you're wandering around and this spooky theme is playing, or that random sound effect that Jason's around is popping around, and you're horrified. Like every time I was playing this with my fiance, and she could not. Every time a sound was made, she's freaking out. Like, where is he? And it's just like, no, he's not after you. You don't see the static on the screen. You're okay. How are you okay with?
But that's what I think they did well in the game is the atmosphere.
Absolutely, you're totally immersed.
It's the perfect I'm lost in the woods, and I know that there's a horrible killing 7-foot maniac coming after me. It has a perfect vibe. The lighting's great.
Absolutely.
So when you're in the light, you sort of regain more stamina, I believe, and then when you're in the dark, you move real slow, so you're just like a sitting duck.
You lose stamina, I think, quicker in the dark as well, and in the light, it'll help you replenish, and I don't think you get as freaked out. Like, I think you need to stay in the light to calm down physically in the game, because your character, it's funny, you'll see them, if you've been just escaping Jason, your character, looks horrified, has, this permanent, gasp on their face, and the longer you're in the light, you'll see them come down and then get to a normal calm. It's just very well done in that sense, because that's how a horror movie would be. You're frightened and you're gonna look frightened, and you're not just some straight face running around and trying to
Yeah, there's no real other than if you don't know the movie, you might not enjoy the game as much. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe someone who hasn't ever seen the movie would enjoy it. It's just a horror game, horror survival.
Yeah, I've been rewatching.
But it's so compact. It's not a full open world game. You're definitely in a specific area,
right? For each stage, right?
Otherwise, they'll never get you. Essentially,
yeah. And it's randomly generated, so it's not like you know where everything is the minute you pop in. So they're no one. You might have a general idea where things should be, but no one has a complete understanding where things actually are. There are maps you could find that
I think they just excuse me, they just randomize it.
Yeah, there's the map layout will look the same, but where the items specifically usually are not. And maybe this certain buildings that'll be main buildings, the boathouse, etc., where an item should appear, but it's not necessarily.
There's a lot of bizarre. Speaking of items, there's a lot of bizarre items.
Oh yeah.
You could just pick up a pot or a pan, and so you just swing at them and
Yeah, it's just a crappy weapon. But it's what's around, because if you're in a camp council, you're gonna have to cook with a pot and a pan, so that would be something.
I guess, but I don't know. What you have to use against him is not very strong outside of the shotgun that you find.
Yeah, there's a random shotgun.
There is a bat. You could use a bat. There's a lead pipe or something.
Yeah.
Some sort
you find
of
a tree branch out and by the campsite and stuff.
And you just whack at him, but he's just
fire
impervious.
Poker by the fireplace.
He's impervious to all your blows.
Yeah, it takes a few swings, and usually you're stunning him, so he just kind of freezes for a moment, and then I think if you're the Jason character, you're tapping X or A, I guess, to
It's funny
get
when
yourself
everyone
back.
like smartens up and just sort of gangs up on him.
Yeah.
Like we played a game where there was a situation where someone was like basically being stalked over and over, and everyone from the team was just like running after him and swinging with their crappy weapons.
He's just freezing, or every now and then you'll just see him like topple over like a tree.
Yeah, literally like stiff as a board. Just
it's like run.
so bizarre, but I guess this is in my mind, one of the only ways you can make a Friday the Third, like a 3D Friday the 13th game.
Right. Which when we say 3D, we mean like a modern game, not
a modern
like,
game, yes,
not like VR 3D.
Well, we had played the Friday the 13th NES game, which is
yes.
a platformer essentially.
Mm-hmm. Which is funny. It's one of those games where, like, looking back, was horrible as a kid. I had no idea what to do. But it was one of those things where, like, I think like even friends that had it, I don't even think anyone had instruction manuals for it for whatever reason. So and plus we were kids, like no one was really looking, and like all the info was like in the manual, and there's a way to do it. Like I would like to play that as an adult because I've seen it done, and I understand there is like an actual way to beat it.
What would be nice is if they would like do a new version of that game as a platformer. You know what I mean?
I guess they could.
Like all the platformers that are out, all these independent games are like so crisp and like just clean with the graphics. Because remember when Flash first came around?
Sure.
The Flash animation.
Sure.
And there was Newgrounds and all that stuff.
Yeah, it was very choppy looking and such.
Right.
Yeah.
But it sort of lends itself perfectly to the 2D or 2.5D platforming game. Like an Earthworm Jim type of situation. But I would like to see like a Friday the 13th Earthworm Jim, if that makes any sense. You know
I can see that.
Like that style. But this to me is the only way you can go about making a Friday the 13th. So I don't know what everyone's sort of complaining about.
I think,
like I said,
I think it came down to you probably spending the $60 for a game that essentially...
Was it that much when it first came out?
I don't think it was cheaper than most games. I feel like it was a brand
Some
new...
games come out and they're like $29.99.
Maybe. I mean, it was a Kickstarter, so maybe it was a little less. Personally, I feel like if I were to pay more than like 20, maybe 25, I could really not be upset about. But anything over that, I'd probably be very mad. And the fact that it was free for this month, obviously,
it's a win, bro.
I'm completely ecstatic. It's great.
It's so weird because I popped on like what I did was I have an Elgato capture card, so I moved it from PC to PC. So when I set it up, I set the PS4 up and I logged on like at the end of September. No, it had to have been the beginning of October. And I want to see what games are free for the month, so I didn't check that out yet.
I always forget to look at that.
I went on, I was like, you know what would be, I was just thinking to myself, I was like, you know what would be perfect to be free this month? Friday the 13th. Sure enough.
And
I couldn't believe it. I was like, no way did I just call that?
Meanwhile, I was getting the game via GameFly.
It's getting it in the mail. He didn't know it was free.
And he tells me, and I downloaded it and was playing it before it actually was sent to me. So
yeah, 2 days prior, he told me, he's like, yeah, I ordered it in. I can't wait to get it. We could do that for a Halloween podcast. I'm like, sounds great. And I log on to the PS4, the PSN Plus. Yeah. Surely enough, there it sits. I'm like, look what I'm downloading for free.
I'm so happy about that.
No way.
And now we have it. It's great. And again, this is one of those things where
and here we are.
I would definitely be enjoying this game for some time. Because again, maybe we take a huge break from it for a while, but it's always there for us to go back to.
Long break.
Yeah. Which is fine though. Like this is that time of year. Maybe in the summer when we have like some free time, it's just like, hey, you want to pop on? This is kind of like summer camp style.
As much as I love them, all the open world games like Red Dead and Skyrim and all the different generations of them,
it really eats up a lot of your time, man. Like
it's so much time. Sometimes you want to just pop something on where it's quick and you could just get in and out of it. That's why I play some sports games too sometimes.
And like,
I don't have time to just donate 5 hours, in the middle of a weeknight to just do that. But so this is like perfect to do, just like a quick call your buddy. Yo, you want to play some Friday the 13th?
Yeah, man.
Let's do it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've been trying to recommend this to everybody that I can. Just like, hey, do you pay for PlayStation? You should download this game because it's great.
Why not? Free is a win every time.
Yep. So again, for those listening, I highly recommend at least because again, you have it. If you're paying for the service, just get it. Give it a shot.
Try it, guys. Spooky beats.
Yep.
So anyway, thanks for joining us
absolutely.
For our first video podcast. And we hope to do a lot more of these this winter. specifically because there's so much cool stuff coming out. I mean,
Mhm.
you saw the list for the PS1 Classic.
Yeah, that garbage. I'm so disappointed by that. I knew that was coming though. Like it was the only
I was
one.
fearful of it. I didn't.
Yeah, I had a feeling. I mean, granted,
There's good stuff on there, but there's a lot of throwaway games
and
too.
even like some of the like personally, like I love the Wild Arms game. It's a great game, and it's probably cool that it's going to branch out to other people. But if we're talking about like a capture of like the iconic PlayStation 1 games that should be on there, like as much as I'd love to say it's deserving, it really is not deserving of that. Not a lot of people, I think, even played it. So it'll be
What was that
good to
other
get
drill
people.
bit?
Oh my god, yeah,
like,
whatever.
why?
And even
Just
like
put-
Puzzle Fighter.
I'd rather have
2D.
Game Day '98 or like Tony Hawk, like something.
Tony Hawk, I think, is definitely belonging on that. How do you have Puzzle Fighter? Like, I mean,
You know why
personally,
they
Street
don't
Fighter
do
Alpha
Tony
3?
Hawk? Because remember when Tony Hawk came out, a big part of that game was the soundtracks.
Oh,
I bet you
yeah.
all those tracks and the copyright issues associated with the ownership of the tracks, I think
guess.
that's a problem.
You can't just.
I
rip
bet you
the
this
music,
odd stuff comes up when they're compiling these things
and
for
they
these
can't
systems.
just maybe cut the music because, like, how like we used to turn it off. We used to turn the music off because you'd be listening to the same stupid song for so long.
Maybe I'm
after a
wrong.
while.
I don't know if it was the first Tony Hawk where you can customize the soundtrack. I think
You
could turn
could.
some songs off.
Yeah,
and
I
some
think you
back
did.
on.
But even then, like half the time, you heard them so much that I think just used to turn the music off, and we would just have the sound effect playing, and we'd have our stereo going.
That's true. A lot of games back in the day, like we always had like music going at the same
Mhm.
time, especially when we're sitting here in this kind of a setting and we're just playing together.
Yeah.
Music went on very frequently. So.
But either way, just I don't agree with it. I was not planning on buying the PlayStation Classic or the PS1
I have
Classic.
it pre-ordered.
Yeah,
I have it pre-ordered.
I think
and
it might be worth canceling.
I might.
Like
but-
what on the, I don't know. Again, just I feel like this isn't like a Super Nintendo where it's like the things are, I guess,
Nostalgic?
2D and nostalgic in that sense. These are going to be
I
polygonal.
think PS1 is very nostalgic for a lot of people.
It's super polygonal. Like it's one of those things where it's nostalgic until you actually look at it in modern eyes.
You could actually.
I don't think it's going to work out too well, man.
And
a lot of
Crash
those.
Team Racing was left out.
Yeah, how is that? I mean,
There's so many. Tomb Raider to me was a huge.
yeah, I mean, I don't know because that studio is closed. I think so. Maybe there's an issue with
Eidos.
Yeah, I don't think they're.
Well,
It
might
was
be new ownership, but I think it still
was
exists.
Eidos, but then I think they. I think it became someone else after a little while because it was a
It was
small
purchased.
studio.
Yeah, it was purchased for sure.
Because
I forget who
after
bought it.
what was that? After
EA maybe.
Because now whoever owns Tomb Raider is like Square, I think. Now, right?
Now?
Hasn't Square Enix been doing it? I think so.
I'm curious.
All the modern ones, I'm pretty sure it
we'll
has.
wait.
But
I'll figure
that's
that
for
out.
another time. Either way, just be aware it's out. And any other horrible mentions being it's
Horrible
Halloween?
mentions for Halloween. Not really, man. I mean, they did say, the Halloween sequel just came out with, with
Jamie Lee Curtis.
So,
Where they're gonna just bypass all the other garbage movies in between. Like, yes, no, this is
which could be
the
easily
real-
done, by the way.
Absolutely, they were garbage.
But either way, they're making. Supposedly, they're teasing a video game.
They're in
so
talks, right?
I believe
Yeah,
so.
I did read something about that. That's I mean, having been excited from Friday the 13th, if maybe a major
Now, for some
developer
reason,
comes
to
out with a
me,
game,
if they're
it'd be better.
smart, they should do something more like first person, as opposed to, it's similar to Friday the 13th in terms of how you would make the game like have a little arena and then you have some people running and him chasing.
Right.
But I think for some reason they should go first person with that,
Or
and just-
VR.
or
VR
or
would be pretty
VR.
sick.
That would be great.
Honestly,
I'm not a big VR guy, but for people who
Mhm.
use VR, it would probably be perfect.
And the way, like, I feel, I'm hoping
You just be Jamie Lee Curtis, hide in the closet.
absolutely that would be terrifying. Come on, being actually
You'll have
chasing
people running
down.
away with the headset
Yeah.
on.
No.
Yeah. So anyway, let's wrap up. Thanks for joining us.
Actually, Castlevania on Netflix
Ooh,
season 2.
Castlevania on Netflix.
Yes.
Did you watch the first season?
Absolutely, it was great. That's
I
probably
enjoyed it,
in like media from video games to either television or movie. That's probably the best I've seen. Like period. Like I don't think there's anything that tops that right now.
It plays out. It's like an anime, but that plays out like a graphic novel in
Mhm.
my mind, and it's tremendous. If you like it, the new season is out now. They did re-up it for at least another season, so it's out there.
Because I know
Check
we
it out if
mentioned
you
this.
like
I'm
it.
pretty sure last Halloween for the first season. So
We did.
yeah, so season 2 is out and definitely worth checking out. But Yeah, you're right. Just in closing, thank you all for joining us for another VG Boys podcast, Halloween edition.
Oh man, we love the spooky times though.
And hopefully, if you are listening to this on Friday the 13th, when this podcast is dropping, should be the last day that Friday the 13th is actually, or Halloween, I should say. I don't know if I said Friday the 13th, but Halloween is when this is dropping. So Friday the 13th, the video game, is available for at least this one more day. So if you have a PlayStation Plus account or just pay for PlayStation Online, check it out and download it. It's
fun
free
multiplayer.
and it's fun.
Fun multiplayer.
And
But
if not, if you've missed it, well, what can we say? Don't be jealous.
Don't be jealous. Peace.
Talk to you later.
Are you just jealous? 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 Cause we're the VG Boys.